Goodness comes and evil goes.
Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, Kimungo Ukombozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth. Karibu and welcome. My name is Kwende, and today we're going to get into another important subject area, and that subject is celebrate your wholesome African Male-Female Union. Now, it is no accident that the Creator Supreme brought into the world the African male, the African female, and allowed them to form or forge harmonious and complementary union in order for the continuum of life to flourish. And the African man has his specialities, his special makeup, and the African woman has her special makeup. And together that forms wholesome union, wholesome oneness of being, whole in and of themselves, but creating a larger oneness for life to grow and life to fully flourish. And life has been cultivated, shaped from generation to generation, from the earliest of times, to give us grand and magnificent outpouring by way of civilization, by way of nation. It is in the context of nationhood that you see African souls having the structure, the framework, the ultimate aim and thrust goal of what a collective people must engage in, must do to safeguard themselves, to safeguard their resources, to safeguard life in general. Within that thrust of nationhood, the African man has his roles and responsibilities. The African woman has her roles and responsibilities according to their respective natures. And that is how the complementary, harmonious living comes to be. Unfortunately, in recent times, as we know, there's been great disturbance and disruption to African life. Of course, the foreign forces that mean the African ill benefit from chaos and disorder amongst African souls, whilst others have attempted to strip African manhood away from the African male and strip African womanhood away from the African female. There's also been pitting of one against the other in order for chaos and disorder to ensue. Whilst chaos and disorder ensues, the foreign forces of the world, meaning the African ill, can simply sit back, watch the destruction unfold, and stretch their hand forth to extract resources that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to take. And in that pitting one against the other, all kinds of strange behaviors then come to the fore. Deception and seeing African men seeing African women as enemy, and African women seeing African men as enemy, and all kinds of espionage and deception and strategies for one to outdo the other, and debris then materializes. Yet amidst all the chaos, all of the confusion African souls are restoring themselves, restoring what it means to be an African man, restoring what it means to be an African woman, and taking the responsibility of their respective roles, whilst at the same time missioning onward and upward to re-establish, to recreate in a more powerful way their own nation. Of course, in a thrust like that, it means that the African souls can get on with their own business of establishing what it means to have harmonious and complementary male-female unions that are wonderful and splendid. And in that process, there is something to celebrate. All year round activity, cultivating the self and harmonizing with the soul that cultivates with you. And the dance takes place, the rhythmic and beautiful dance of oneness, a special union, a wonderful union, and a union to celebrate. And it means that that time away from the clutches and the vices of others is also important. Special time for the self and not losing sight of the ultimate mission for African souls. So a journey can be made together in oneness for the greater good. So as we go through an annual cycle, we purge ourselves of the destructive abrasion or destructive abrasiveness, all kinds of ills paraded as pseudo substitutes for genuine, integrity-filled, wonderful and special male-female unions. We're not talking about situationships. We're not talking about entanglements. We're not talking about escapades and whatever other variant may be attributed to behavior peddled as being wholesome union. We're talking about African union of oneness. And a wonderful time to celebrate that coming together or that maintenance of togetherness is the special time of Kwanzaa. It begins on the 26th of December and works through until the 1st of January, 7 days. And if you happen to be single, which some of us are, then that does not stop the celebration either. Because what that means is you can celebrate the cultivation of the self and the energizing thrust that is outwardly expressed in order to allow the potential of a harmonious soul to come into your sphere. So it's still a time to celebrate. So with that food for thought, and surely it is food for thought. Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi. Divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth.